Hello everyone, my name is Connor /Flurry65 and welcome to Ben and Ed Blood Party. Today I'm going to talk about map making, since someone in my Steam comic section on my Blade Maze talked about if they wanted a video about me creating maps, and I thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea. So today I'll be talking about all kinds of things, my preferences at least, for map making. So we'll get it hop into a new one. So we have 5 different arenas. My favorite arena in total is Acid Arena because that one is very, it's kind of small, complex, and plus pretty much you don't have to worry about putting anything on the floor because everything's is made of acid. It's not the biggest one. It's only at 32 feet, and it's kind of a small area. So it's the same thing with Arena of Doom. It's pretty much the same, but I'd rather use an Acid Arena than Arena of Doom. Laser Dome. It's pretty big, and it only goes up to 32 as well. It's not my preference since there's not much going on in it. Candy Factories for big maps and stuff. It goes up to 62, and yeah, it's pretty huge. But just be wary that people can walk on the floor even though they're on fire. Box of Fun, same thing. There's no floor this time. It's like each map has different unique abilities for each one. So we'll go with Acid for now. Let's make sure it starts. All right. So I'll turn off Killer Robots because that's one of my favorite soundtracks. All right. So we're gonna start with some floor just to start off with. So in this episode, I'll be giving preferences about different traps and utilities as well. So we'll make a little area for us to walk around. We'll put down our spawn point. Each map needs a starting checkpoint, a finish, and also level thumbnail. So we're gonna start off with our first trap, the small blade and the large blade. Large blade is more of my favorite one to use, other than the regular small blade. Small blades are for more of the approach of, let me see, where's it at? Not interactive. Okay, platforms. The hovering platforms and also tiny platforms. Or if you're in a small area, use small blades. But usually large blades are more of my kind of trap. You can put them together, make like a 3-pillar blade. That's always fun to use. Saw blades. So there's different things like in the map editor. You always want to hit help if you always want help. It's always a good thing to lay out everything. The controls may seem wonky, but you can get used to them. So make sure you want to zoom in. So for the blade, on your right side of your keyboard, you have a keypad usually. So your 2 and 8 key there can actually flip the saw blade like that, or 8 can switch it back to where it's on top instead. And then your 6 and 4 key can flip them around, kind of like R would. So kind of like that. And then your 7 and 9 key kind of flip that around. So keep that in mind when you're making all kinds of traps, including vertical lasers as well. You can make nice little assortments of vertical lasers. When you're using vertical laser, make sure to put a wall usually under, like beforehand. Put it where it's not like, let me see, get a good, there you go. Usually put it like that. Oh geez, I'm definitely off here. Alright, there we go. So if you want to make the design nice, you can put the laser forward, but usually you want to put the laser going through the wall because our zombies are able to either walk through the laser sometimes if they're going through like that. So you get rid of that. Laser barricades. Not my favorite trap. Yeah, I don't use them, pretty much. The same thing with electric fences. I feel that you don't really need them. They're kind of worthless. In my feeling, you can use them if you want, but I don't really see a use for them. Now, bombs are very fun, not in real life, but in this game definitely. So a nice idea I had that I'm going to share is a map that I haven't created yet. I would call it, like, a good map name would be, you want your map names to be, make sense at least. Like same thing with your music. You want your music to go with your maps, so, and have a catchy name. Like imagine there's a maps full of bombs in boxes. We'll call it Bombs in Boxes. So you would have people running around with the utility chainsaw, cutting open boxes, trying to find the exit, while bombs, sneaky little bombs, are in some boxes. It's like you cut this open, which it doesn't work apparently. And then you go to this one, and oh snap, it blew up. Get rid of these bombs and boxes right here. No, I didn't even put that down. Come on, go away. Alright, there you go. Come on. Come on. Oh no. Oh, wow. Invisible chainsaw. Alright, we'll just leave that alone for now. So yeah, we got bombs, and then here, swinging blades. So, another thing you can do is that you want to have you want usually your blades to be at least on a good level, that make them at least hard. Make them at like a 3. Or if you want to go all hardcore, just go to 10, whatever. So say you want to put the blades together like that. You can't do that. Or because if you put them too far apart, it's like, oh, what's the point of the trap? So here's something you can do. So if you hit your G key like this, you can actually slide them together to where they're neck together, and then it at least makes a good enough thing. So your G and also your regular, let me see, your regular grid pretty much allows you to do different things. Like if without the grid, you're more smooth to move around. When you're on grid, it's more like inches you kind of move on instead of centimeters. So that's always a good thing. This kind of trap right here always gets the best of me. I mean, I already cut open. So yeah, pretty much you could do that. G keys are always good to use. Bumpers are fun. It's just the only thing is that you can't edit them. So they kind of are just like a time thing. Then we have Crushing Fist. Crushing Fist is used for platforms just like small blades are. Trapdoors are only used, I would believe, for a level that has a unique kind of color to it, like the yellow platforms. I would only use the trapdoors, like just use a bunch of them. They're always fun to use to trick people into thinking, oh, it's a regular platform. Use them in shaded areas too. They'll never see it coming. Flames. So when it comes to flames, be wary. Here's a tip about flames. When someone catches on fire, they can throw their head still, and their head won't be on fire if it didn't touch the fire in time. So you could still live even though you're on fire. You can just throw your head. So usually put 2 layers of flames. So you would put one over here, they throw their head, and then put another one over here, so that they'll still, like, if you want to do like a wall of flames, kind of like one of the maps on Benedette as well. I forgot what it was, but it had bombs and also flames everywhere. It's kind of like a speedrun. Kind of if you want to do something like that. Hammers. Hammers are really fun. It's just that I don't use small hammers. Small hammers are too small. I rather use big hammers because big hammers are big, and you can never have too much big stuff. Usually you can make like a triple hammer, kind of triple threat. So you'd be running on like, oh, and then oops. It's a unique thing about the Acid Arena. You never see it coming. Alright, then we got the slappers. Hammer hands, if you want to call them. They're very good. If you want to make something interesting, it won't show on editor, but you can, if you use a Spikeball Spawner, you can actually make it where when they spawn the balls, they'll swing them as well. It doesn't show on here. It's a shame though, because that's really cool actually. Let me just wait for that to disappear. Avoid breakable racks if you're making a wood level, because when they they're invisible. They don't come back, pretty much. Also, in editor as well. If you trigger them during editor, become completely invisible. They'll show in your regular game, but they won't be able to be shown in this game. All right. Trapdoors are fun. Both of them are actually good. I prefer the other trapdoor than this one, but these are fun to use. Electric fences, I already talked about. Fans. All right. Peace of mind here. If you put like a let's say like you put this underneath this, it'll blow right through. So no matter what you put down, like in front of the fans, they'll always blow. So they'll blow in the radius it's showing here. So just keep that in mind. Spikeball Spawners are hilarious. I love Spikeball Spawners. You only put 4 of them in the map, which is a shame. So you wanted to cash that in during the pre-alpha kind of. Moving blocks. Moving blocks are fun. A cool thing to do with these guys is if you're doing kind of a block level, if you add lasers, you can actually make an assortment where it goes back and forth blocking the lasers off, which I did in my laser arena, which is actually a really cool trap. So they keep that. And then trapdoors. So I kind of have a method I create called the beanstalk, where you put something in the middle, and then you put a trapdoor, and then you put another trapdoor going up, then you put another trapdoor going up a little bit higher, and then you have another one keep up, and then you keep going until you get to your place. So pretty much what you would do is here was that you would be running in, it would fall, you gotta go like really quick. Yeah, kind of like that. So you just keep going on, but there will be something in the middle, so I'm not willing to take my time building this. So that's all the traps we're going to talk. So utilities. A good method to do with doors, because doors are really fun to make. Even though it kind of sounds lame. Like, Connor, why do you want to talk about doors today? Well, a cool thing I figured out is like, oh, why don't we have a map where you have the goal right behind a door at the very end, or at the very start of the level, and you have to go through like a long hallway where there's a button at the very end, and then you have to go back around with a checkpoint so you don't hit enter. So yeah, you always gotta look for the flaws. Like, imagine, like, if you gotta look out for when people throw their heads, it's like, oh, they can get underneath your traps. Then it's like, oh, that's a problem. So usually stick with body buttons and also head buttons. So yeah. So movable blocks. Thing about these guys, lasers go right through them. Anytime a trap goes right through these guys. So these are okay, kinda. When you're in editor, the movable platform with the toggle button doesn't work for some reason. That's a kind of a glitch I've been seeing trying to make a map I'm right now. But so you don't really, but they do work. You got to test them off like in game and out game basically. I would say launchers are really fun to use. I haven't used them as much, but I know they're really fun. You get a good trampoline level. Cannons are worthless, I feel. They're really just for friends to mess around. I haven't used the suicide button yet. I'm not very sure what it does. It probably does kill you because it's in its name. Trampolines. You gotta. Sometimes it's good just to mess around in the editor and see how high you go, so you can know. Like they don't like cheat your level. It's like, oh, what's the point of making a wall here? So we usually have good high walls. Like, let's go in the walls real quick. So like usually people can jump over the two walls, either with throwing their head or literally jumping over it. So usually you use high walls, like use like a layer, one of these guys, or like if you're using the huge wall, you do 2 layers of these, cause yeah. And then if you're using the neon block, always do that as well. So you gotta always look out for if people can kind of cheat your game. It's always good to have a nice map. Like, don't like mess up your map where like you could use the configuration. But when you're making like walls and stuff, for example, like let's put a wall down, don't make it look like that. Don't make it look sloppy, kind of like that. Make sure it's like always spaced out. If there's a type of brick, sometimes you can get away with it. For instance, with the neon blocks, you can get away with it. Like for example, like you see how it's like, don't make it like that, put it like that. So it's kind of like, yeah, kind of like that. So it's like if you want like a 3 brick, you can always do that. So neon blocks can get away with it. These floors can also get away with it too, if you're lucky. Like, see how it kind of doesn't show? It only shows at the end there. So yeah, there's something to watch out for. Oh, take this back. So you kind of want to look out for that. Decorations are always nice to use. Arrows are good to point people in the correct direction instead of mindlessly walking around in a maze sometimes if they get lost. It's nice to add stuff. Like, for instance, it's like at the end as a disco ball, so it's like, oh, cool, we completed the level. Neon skulls are fun to use. And then pretty much for show options, they're the same and set. Like, make sure your music makes sense to the map. Like, if you're doing a map about Spikeballs, you should use fast lane or incoming, because that kind of makes sense. And then make sure you make your map types correct. Like, if you're making a hard level where you have to make people work together, then you should make it competitive. And if you're just killing each other, make it versive. Make sure, usually a good time limit is 20 minutes, and then you give yourself maybe 30 to 50 lives, or if you just want to make like an easy, fun map. Your description, make sure it makes it short and sweet. Max players will always stay 4 pretty much. And yeah, thank you for watching. My name was Connor, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want more tips and tricks, make sure you comment down below. If you have any questions, make sure you also comment down. Leave a like, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time in the future.